All I remember is he was standing over me. I threw a punch. The next thing I recall, his head and whole side of his face hit the window. Me, you can never break me. Gotta get out, figure it out. I'm making it out. Hey everyone, it's Chantelli. Welcome back to Storytime Sunday. For today's story time, I want to tell you about my first fight. My first fight was in middle school, and believe it or not, it was on the bus. And I do want to say, violence is not the answer. But that's the thing about life. We all live and we all learn. And with it being middle school, that's the time that's going to shape your life for your future more than any other time. So we were riding on the bus in the morning, and my little brother was a few seats ahead of me. So we're about halfway to school, and I noticed two kids arguing. So when I kind of look up, I notice it's my brother and this kid that's like bigger than him and taller than him. It's a boy. So I'm trying to like peek and see what's going on, and it's getting loud, it's getting aggressive. And I noticed the bus driver, he's just still driving. I'm all the way at the back of the bus. My brother is actually closer to the bus driver than to me. So if I can hear it, the bus driver definitely should be able to hear it. But he's still driving. His mission is about getting to his destination. So me being me, I'm always the protector type. And definitely for my brother, I'm going to protect my brother. So I go up there. Not aggressively, but I go up there because even though I'm a protector, even more than a protector, I'm a mediator. So I go up there and try to mediate. So when I get to where my brother and the guy were, they were sitting on opposite seats from one another. And my brother's in the seat with his two besties, and then the guy's by himself. So I kind of just scooch in to the guy's seat, and I'm separating him. And I'm just like, wait, whoa, what's going on, guys? I'm trying to be calming and all of this. And so my brother tells me his side, then the guy tells me his side. So I listen to each one, and then I go giving this like sisterly advice. So I go to tell, my brother what to do, and he calms down, he's listening. So then I turn to the guy and I go to try to give him some positive advice. And immediately he stands up. He's back aggressive, just as aggressive as he was before I ever got there. And all I heard was, bitch, fuck you, something like that. And after that, that's all I remember.
Ew to the nah, to the nah, nah, nah.
Now looking back on it, it wasn't even about the calling me a name part that bothered me. It was him standing up over me. I know now that's a trigger for me. So I'll admit I punched him. I don't know how many punches. All I remember is he was standing over me. I threw a punch. The next thing I recall, his head and whole side of his face hit the window, and then blood. I saw blood splashing. The next thing I remember is the bus driver had stopped the bus and jerked me up and basically tossed me off the bus. And from there, he drove off. Luckily, I had my backpack on me. And so now, I go from shock to a little bit of sadness to anger. The sadness was I was trying to go do a good deed. I had no intention of fighting at all. And then all of a sudden, I just got in a fight. It's like, what? But then the anger was I had something really important to do at school that day, and now I just got kicked off the bus. So luckily, like, anger has always been a good thing for me because I take that adrenaline and it pushes me. So I'm telling you, I got to school in record time. I walked to school after getting kicked off the bus. And so when I got there, my bus was still there waiting. So when I got there, my bus was still there waiting. So I know my bus driver had gotten off to report me to the principal and go from there. So as soon as I Arrived at school, you saw the bus driver, you saw the principal, and the principal took me straight into the principal's office. And then, the bus and the crew drove off. So I didn't get to see my brother, until the end of the day or anything, because he didn't go to the same school as me. So we go into the principal's office, and I can kind of see from a ways that the boy that I had just gotten into a fight with, he's in there with the nurse. They end up sending him home for the day after they bandaged him up. So I ended up not getting suspended because it was my first fight ever, but I did get Saturday school. And I believe I had 4 to 6 Saturday schools I had to go to for the next so many weeks. And then they let me go ahead and return to class for the day because, like I said, I had something really important that day for school. So by the time I made it into class after the principal's office, my whole class already knew about the fight. Oh man, she's having a fight. So my whole class already knew about it. Let me backtrack. The way our middle school was set up, it kind of looks like a T. So picture a T turned sideways. That front end of your T-bar would be 6th grade, and then from the center going east was the 7th grade wing, and then the north tip of the T-bar was 8th grade, and then 5th grade was directly below 8th grade in the basement area. So that's how our school was made. By the time I got out of the principal's office and went to class, my whole class already knew that I had gotten into a fight. And they're like, oh, Chantel got in a fight. So it wasn't anything I could hide or try to keep a secret. By the time lunch rolled around, all of 8th grade knew. And then by the time the end of the school day, the whole school knew. 6th and 5th graders knew as well. What I hated most about getting into the fight, like I said, I hated it because I was trying to do a good deed and then something bad came from it. I was actually friends with the boy's sister, so I felt like things were going to be weird between she and I now. And I didn't want the bus driver to think I was bad. I hate the label of labeling kids bad, so I didn't want the bus driver to look at me differently. Luckily, I think I impressed him by still walking to school. I guess any other kid that ever got kicked off the bus just went on home or skipped school for the day. But by me still walking to school and getting there in a timely manner, I think that impressed him. I don't know, maybe some kids told my side of the story, I'm not for sure, but he luckily never did, treat me differently after that day, and that was my biggest fear. I earned a lot of respect of the neighborhood kids on the bus. They were like, oh, Chantel's hard. Now, there is one flip side to this. Even though I earned a lot of the neighborhood kids' respect, there were a few girls in my grade, after they heard about the fight, they tried to test me a little bit. And I don't know if it was they always secretly kind of didn't like me or not. So I do remember a few days after the fight, I was in line after intramurals. So it's after lunch, we would go to gym, and it's called intramurals, where you play sports until it's time for your next class. And so you'll have to line up before you go to your next class. And I was waiting in line, and this tomboy girl, a little bit taller than me, came up from behind me and kind of like tried to put me in not a headlock, but she kind of locked my arms. And she's like, so what you gonna do? You hard now, right? How you gonna get out of this? You gonna fight me too? And the thing is, I did not want to fight. I had never had intentions of fighting the first fight. Luckily for me, even though I'm small but strong physically, my mind it's even stronger. And so I knew, as important as academics were to me at that time, I knew athletics were important to her. And she had a really important game coming up that week. So I just beat her at her own game. She wanted me to try to challenge her physically, maybe for bragging rights. But instead, what I did to her, when she's like, so what you gonna do? I said, if you want to start the game tonight, I bet you get the hell away from me right now. And I put a little bit of force in my voice. And that was that. She backed off, hands up. She laughed and said something like, oh shit, I don't want to smoke. And that was that, and luckily after that, no more girls tried to try me, for the rest of that week. So that's the story time of my first fight. Leave comments below about your first fight. I hope all of you have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Tune in next week for Storytime Sunday at 11 a.m. Bye, guys.
Hey everybody, thank you for tuning in. Go ahead and click like. If you haven't already, subscribe to my channel and go ahead and click the notification bell so you can be aware of every time I make new videos.
I'm making it out. OT.
Chantelli.